Every year, millions of children are born into homes that will fail them. Almost every one of them grows up to hurt no one at all. This is a story about the rare and terrible few who did not. This is the case file of an ordinary, unwanted, badly beaten little boy. It is also the case file of one of the most murderous men who ever lived. Same folder, same childhood. Nobody in this file is a dictator, yet. Pull it out of the drawer and there is a whole cabinet exactly like it. One file for every monster of the last century, and every one of them is boring. A report card, a rejection letter, a father who drinks, the paperwork of the apocalypse. It reads like a background check nobody bothered to run until it was far too late. Because here's the uncomfortable thing every file in the drawer agrees on. Nobody is born a dictator. They are assembled, slowly, out of very ordinary parts. And the title of this video is already pointing at you. File 1. A cobbler's house in a small Georgian town, 1878. The father is a shoemaker the neighbors call Crazy Beso, and he drinks. On the nights he comes home, he beats his wife and his son in the street. The boy is the only one of 3 children who did not die as a baby. His own drunk father once complained that the boy wanted to turn the whole world upside down. The cobbler was, exactly once in his life, completely and accidentally right. His face is scarred by smallpox, and a carriage has left one arm shorter than the other. His mother, Keke, takes in sewing, stitching late to buy her one living son a future. The plan is simple and devout. Her boy will be a priest. She even gets him into the church school, and he sings in the choir. He got in only because a priest lied that the cobbler's boy was a deacon's son. And then, at the seminary, the whole devout plan quietly falls apart. He is expelled in 1899 and turns from the priesthood toward revolution. His mother will die believing her son had thrown her whole life's work away. She kept the small cassock she had sewn for him folded away until the day she died. Close the file. Stamp it. Nobody in this file is a dictator yet. File 2. A blacksmith's forge in the Italian countryside, 1883. The father is a blacksmith with a police record, and he reads Marx aloud at the anvil. He names his son after a foreign revolutionary before the boy can even spell it. The politics arrive in the cradle. The child just has to grow into them. But the violence shows up long before any of the ideology does. He stabs a classmate with a penknife and is expelled from his boarding school. In this file, the fist shows up years before any flag or slogan ever does. Then he is expelled a second time. He is still, remember, a child. And there again is the second parent the files keep producing, the mother who prayed. A devout schoolteacher, the sober counterweight, quietly losing to the forge. Close the file, stamp it. Nobody in this file is a dictator yet. 2 files now, 2 ordinary houses, the exact same stamp on both. File 3. A prosperous farm in the green hills of Hunan, China, 1893. The great peasant hero of the revolution was raised by a landlord who beat him. A hard, rich, self-made farmer who called the boy lazy for reading instead of working. There were 2 parties in our family, he said. My father was the ruling power. The opposition was myself, my mother, my brother, and sometimes even the hired man. A dictator, in his own words, describing his childhood home as a state to be overthrown. He is beaten for reading books instead of carrying his weight in the family fields. So one day, cornered and furious, the boy runs to the edge of the family pond. He threatens to jump, and he watches the ruling power, his father, go quiet and give way. A 10-year-old ran an experiment on authority, and authority blinked first. He filed the lesson away carefully. The whole world would help him pay for it later. He once watched starving villagers seize his own hard father's grain and quietly sided with them. His first lesson in politics was watching his own father lose. At 13, he refuses the marriage his father arranged for him and simply walks out. His first successful revolution overthrew a government of exactly one man. Even his gentle Buddhist mother taught him to win by indirect attack, never open revolt. Close the file, stamp it. Nobody in this file is a dictator yet. Before the next file, look at what all of this would have cost to stop. An education, a sober father, one adult at the right moment saying yes. The cheapest insurance policy in history, and in every file, nobody ever bought it. It is a small price. Watch how large the unpaid bill becomes. File 4. A poor village near Tikrit in Iraq, 1937. This file is the hardest to read because the cruelty in it starts before birth. The father dies or vanishes, and the grieving mother tries to end the pregnancy and herself. The baby lives anyway and is handed off to relatives wanted by very nearly no one. A stepfather beats him awake, keeps him out of school, and sends him out to steal. He herds sheep and learns young that in this world things are taken, not given. He carries a short iron bar to school because the other boys know the word for fatherless. A child had armed himself against the entire world before he could properly read. His first real possession, the story goes, was not a toy at all, but a gun. And then the empty place where a father should have been does not stay empty. An uncle takes him in, a cashiered army officer and a furious pan-Arab zealot. The missing father is replaced, and he is replaced by the angriest man in reach. The boy who had owned nothing now had a cause, an enemy, and a borrowed rage. In 3 of these files now, something rushes in to fill that very same hole. Close the file, stamp it. Nobody in this file is a dictator yet. Decades later, an intelligence service wrote this same childhood up as a case file too. By now, you have surely noticed that every file holds the same 3 things. A father who is absent or cruel. A mother who prays. One specific door that shuts. The report card, the rejection, the drunk. It is monotonous, and that is the whole point. There is one file left in this drawer, and it is the most ordinary of them all. It is also the one you will least want me to open. Let us open it. File 5. A customs officer's house on the Austrian border, 1889. The father is a strict imperial official who, by every account, frequently beat his son. The boy grows withdrawn, resentful, and quiet, the most common bruise in the entire drawer. There is nothing exotic in here at all, only a hard man and a frightened child. The boy in this last file wanted, more than anything else, to be a painter. His father, the customs man, had exactly one answer to that, and it never changed. An artist? Not as long as I live. Never. The very first rejection in this file did not come from any academy at all. It came from a father, across a dinner table, to a boy who could actually draw. Years later, the boy carries his portfolio to the Vienna Academy of Fine Arts. They turn him down. His drawing, the examiners note, is simply unsatisfactory. He goes back and tries again the following year, and they turn him down a second time. 2 rejections from one committee across 2 quiet afternoons. It may be the single most expensive rejection letter ever written. The whole hinge of a century turns out to be a 2-digit number. He was even told he might try architecture instead. That one open door he walked straight past.
In a bunk in that hostel, an ordinary grievance quietly hardened into something else. And that same winter, something far worse than a rejection happens in this file. His mother is dying of cancer at 47, while the second letter arrives. The rejection and the dying mother arriving in the exact same gray season. And here, if you are being honest with yourself, is where this gets uncomfortable. For one moment, you feel something for the boy. That moment is the whole trap. You are not wrong to feel it. Right now, he is only a grieving child. There is one last thing in this folder, and it refuses to fit the man he becomes. He kept, to the very end of his life, a single framed portrait. The portrait of the Jewish doctor who sat with his mother while she died. He kept it protected, and he made sure that one man got out alive. That is the child in the file. This, now, is the name he grew into. The failed painter from Vienna was a boy called Adolf Hitler. Nothing in the file explains the leap from boy to name. The leap is the horror. And this is the one file in the drawer that we do not stamp. Because empathy for the child is never, not once, absolution for the man. The boy deserved far better. The man earned every word that history keeps for him. So the folder simply stays open. There is no verdict small enough to close it. But there is a sixth file, the one that should break everything I just told you. File 6. Not a slum or a forge, but a royal palace in Cambodia. The child in here is gentle, quiet, smiling, and completely unremarkable. Teachers would remember only a mild, forgettable boy with nothing wrong in his file. Classmates, years on, could not match the gentle boy they had known with the man he became. The one thread he shared with the others was a quiet string of failed exams. No drunk father, no beatings, no closed door. A soft and privileged childhood. The great peasant revolutionary he became never once worked in a rice field. He grew up inside the palace itself. His own sister was a royal dancer there. And the cruelty that made him did not happen anywhere in this file at all. It happened much later and far away among angry young students in Paris. There, resentment finally found a theory, and a gentle boy learned to justify anything. The childhood on its own was never the blueprint. It was only ever the parts. Even the scholars who study this argue bitterly over how much a childhood really decides. Which brings us, finally, to the number that keeps this whole video honest. In these same decades, tens of millions of children were beaten by their fathers. The number of them who became one of these files is single digits. Almost every beaten child in history grew up to be nobody's nightmare at all. The happiest fathers, one historian warned, simply leave no heartbreaking letters behind. The archive itself is quietly tilted toward the cruelty that happened to get written down. So a hard childhood does not explain a monster, and it never once excuses one. These were assembly conditions, not destiny. The parts, and never the blueprint. And the parts are so ordinary, they are almost insulting. The surname the whole world would one day scream was, on paper, a clerk's small edit. The father was born under a different name and simply changed it in his 40s. The paperwork of a monster is boring, administrative, and very often just lucky. So here, at the very end, is the invoice that history refused to read. One art school place, one sober father, one adult just once saying yes. The smallest bill in the whole ledger returned as tens of millions of lives. The worst investment in all of history was the one that nobody ever made. The century never ran out of money for these children. It only ran out of attention, which is the part of all this that is not going to leave you alone. Every one of these men was first a child that somebody could have reached. The question was never what they were. The question is, who is being assembled right now?
In some ordinary house with a report card and a door that just closed, tonight. You will never know which house it is. Almost none are. But one of them might be. The parts were all ordinary. Only the assembly was ever monstrous. Nobody is born a dictator, which means somebody, every single time, is made into one. See you next time.